The Anatomy of a Door, Part 1. The Wood. Hey there, lovely viewer. Today we are looking at doors. More specifically, the material that makes up the majority of the door. And even more challenging is the fact that I'm gonna do it in under 8 minutes. Enjoy! Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It helps me to know what you guys want to see more of, and so I really appreciate it. Thanks! Wood was first harvested for doors in 2000 BC. You don't know who it was, but he must not have been very smart, because then the trees got mad, and thus climate change was born. Doors have been around for as long as mankind has wanted to keep their stuff as their stuff and their lives private.
How about now? No!
Britannica Encyclopedia gives this definition in their article on doors. A barrier of wood, stone, metal, glass, paper, leaves, hides, or a combination of materials installed to swing, fold, slide, or roll in order to close an opening to a room or building. So anyway, this is a door, and this is how you use it. I know the title of the video says we are going to talk about wood doors, but I will be including any other wood-like material that makes up the primary portion of a door, such as stone, metal, glass, paper, leaves, hides, or a combination of materials in this video. The very first doors that we have evidence for were found in the cradle of civilization, where the Mesopotamians took the same materials they used to make their walls and reduced it down to a movable size. This means doors of animal skins and woven grass. And this makes sense, since doors are really just diet walls. The first doors that we would recognize today are seen on Egyptian paintings that show how pharaohs loved to keep their afterlife parties to themselves if they could help it. And these doors appear to be made of wood and date back around almost 5,000 years ago, so almost as old as your mom. In fact, most of antiquity used wood for their doors until people realized that the thing they were relying on to keep out the bogeyman was the same stuff they were using to feed their fires. Really a questionable decision in retrospect. So then the leaders decided they wanted something more flame-adverse. So someone decided to take wood and cover it in gold. Other people, who weren't as rich as Solomon, used bronze. Almost as shiny as gold, but a tenth of the price. By the way, that would include the Greeks and the Romans, who stole almost everything from the Greeks. Others looked at rocks and thought, man, wouldn't that make a great door? And of course, since men have always looked for ways to compensate since their inception, the bigger the door, the bigger your... And people get mad at the guys with loud or large vehicles. Lol. Anyone who could afford it would force other people to put intricate designs on the door to impress anyone who entered with the owner's machismo. Most of the time, this would include scenes of nature and beauty. Other times, not so much. Of course, this was only for those who could afford it. Anyone who didn't have enough privilege had the character-growing opportunity to wonder if today was the day someone was going to accidentally torch their home. Now as the inexorable march of time progressed, men got sharper, harder, and bigger tools. More types of doors were made available. In the medieval period, iron became a common workable material and was added to long, thick, girthy wooden doors to reinforce them. Now around the 18th century, people were able to mold the unyielding epitome of stone to their will. Glass and metal. How did they do this? I really don't have the foggiest on how it was done. However, as a total coincidence, the Industrial Revolution was happening at the exact same time. Now, of course, at this point in human history, you have 4 main types of doors, each with their own capabilities. Wood, the most common, cheapest, and easiest to construct and make artsy-fartsy. Stone, heavy, not as easy to manipulate, and not common. Metal, strong, heavy, easy to mold, relatively expensive for those with paranoia or the government. Glass, for the rich, eccentric, and proud, they were heavy, fragile, and expensive. As most residential areas still used wooden doors for all of their doorways, that is what we will examine next. As wooden doors progressed from the heavy, double-paneled doors of the medieval period into the modern wooden doors we know today, they became lighter and easier to handle. How do you make a double-paneled door lighter? Well, you take away the double-paneled bit and make it single-paneled. Then you change out the multiple panels in that single-paneled door for several panels stuck inseparably together using glue. Then you hollow out the door to provide better opportunities to hide the dried-out remains of whoever your latest victim was. I mean, to ensure the door was not too heavy. That's what most people have today. Next, there are stone doors. Honestly, most of the stone doors that modern man will see today still remember seeing the Roman Empire or rise of the Christian and Islamic Golden Age. That's to say, they're old. That isn't to say that no one makes them anymore. There is at least one company I found that makes them. They try to advertise them as stately and epic and imposing. I just call them fragile, heavy, and expensive. And that leads us to metal doors, the epitome of modern man's power. to be powerful and rich enough to make metal doors so common that people going to the office every day don't even think about it anymore. They are strong, flexible, and heavy. They can be molded into intricate designs and not so intricate designs. When modern metal doors were first made, they revolutionized the business world. That is where you see most modern metal doors, either in business or in the military. When you think of the words door and power in the same sentence, you think of metal doors. Fort Knox, Area 51, nuclear bomb shelters, yada yada. So strong, people had to make specialized weaponry just to break through them. Finally, there's glass. Glass is like the opposite of metal and the weaker cousin to stone. Glass doors are fragile and clear. However, because of their fragility, they are considered high class. And because of their clarity and ability to bend light, they can be made into any number of highly intricate and colorful designs. Just make sure you have the right person install them and not to open them on a day where the weather is disagreeable. And last but not least, there is the metaphorical door. Doors made of metaphor are strong enough to sway one man's heart while making the guy next to him cringe and cliche. These doors are cheap, often not worth the air used to speak them, but people, especially public speakers, use them like it's something worth posting. Here are some famous, well-known doors that exist or have existed in some form since man thought to make them. Jesus' door, Shrek's door, Gilberti's Gates of Paradise, St. Peter's Basilica doors, Hagia Sophia doors, and 3 doors down. That is basically everything. Depending on how well this video does, I can make supplementary history lessons on the accoutrements of the door, such as knobs, hinges, eye holes, locks, and the recent ring device that people insist on putting on their door frames. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. See ya.